What is TACoS? No, it's not the Mexican food, but it stands for Total Amazon Cost of Sales in the e-commerce circles. TACoS is what determines how successful and how profitable you are in selling on e-commerce platforms. One of the questions that I get asked the most often by my customers is, how do I know if I'm making any money? How do I know, looking at all the data in front of me, whether things are moving in the right direction or not? How do I know how my ad campaigns are actually performing and the real impact that it's having on my Amazon sales? So that's a very interesting question, because e-commerce is all about data analytics. It's all about numbers to better understand and make decisions out of it. So a term that has been coined was TACoS, Total Amazon Cost of Sales. It is a term that is basically used to understand if your ad campaigns are working well and if your ad campaigns are contributing to the overall growth of your product sales. So in the typical sense, a very common terminology used for measuring ad performance is a term called ROAS, ROAS, which is return on ad spend. A return on ad spend of 1 means that you spent $1 on ads and you received $1 in revenue. So that's when the ROAS is 1. Obviously, the higher the ROAS, the higher the profitability, the higher the returns, and the better your ad campaigns are performing. Typically on Amazon, brands that on an average we have seen from the data we have collected, a good ROAS is anywhere between 8 to 15 and in some cases higher than that. But unfortunately for early stage brands, because they have to invest a lot more in placing their products higher up on organic rankings, typically the ROAS is much lower, especially during the early and growth phases. So ROAS only encompasses the ad spend versus the ad sales. Now, of course, on Amazon, how it works is that the more you spend on ads, not only do your ad sales increase, but your overall sales increases as well. And the reason that happens is that as you spend more on ads, as your product gets more traction, it gets more sales, it tells the Amazon's algorithm that your product is really good and hence it deserves to have a better organic sales rank, or in Amazon's terminology, it's called BSR, or best selling rank. So if my BSR in a particular category is 10, that means my product will show up organically for that particular category, for that particular keyword, if I am ranked so. Now, Amazon obviously gets to choose which products come under or fall under which ranking, and obviously this ranking keeps on changing. Is not really a level playing field, because we have seen Amazon give preference to its own Amazon Basics brand on top and kicking away all the other competitors in very many categories. Amazon has also set up its system to become a pay-to-play platform, where unless you are running ads, irrespective of how big or how long you have been selling on Amazon, you will not succeed. Your product will not get organic rankings or desirable organic rankings if you do not advertise for it. And so the challenge for large and small companies is, okay, fine, I understand it's a pay-to-play. I understand I have to run some kind of ads to stay relevant and to not drop off the face of the Amazon homepage planet. But how much do I spend? And at what point do I determine whether the whole exercise of doing this makes sense or not? That is $1 million question. Typically, we see that for our customers, we strive to decrease the TACoS with every passing week, every passing month. Obviously, you cannot make it 0, because if you make it 0, that means you're not running any ads. That means your organic sales will fall. That means your ranking will fall, and it's a losing game. But this is the situation that we are in right now, where our goal is to understand the overall TACoS. That means a TACoS of 100% means that you spend $1 in ads and then you got $1 in overall sales, which includes ad sales as well. Some of the ways to improve TACoS is to analyze each and every campaign, each and every keyword, each and every ASIN target, and to trim down those keywords and campaigns which have a very high ACoS. So ACoS means Amazon cost of sales. ACoS is the inverse of ROAS. Basically, how many dollars you spend to get that amount of dollars in ad spend. That is the term. That is what ACoS means. And ACoS and TACoS are mostly correlational. That means typically a lower ACoS means a lower TACoS, and so on. but there is a distinction between the two. And so that's the logic, or that's the understanding behind how TACoS helps in e-commerce brands understanding whether they're performing well. And obviously the lower TACoS, the better. For larger brands, we've seen a TACoS of anywhere between 1 to 10%, sometimes even more. And for growing and mature brands, it's somewhere between 10 to 20% in some cases. And then for early stage brands that have just launched recently, their TACoS can go, in some cases, 100% or even more. That means the idea is that when you're launching a brand, you invest more in your brand, you pay more money in the hopes that eventually you will get a good enough BSR or best-selling rank so that you don't have to pay so much to acquire every new customer that comes on Amazon. It's great for Amazon. It's a win-win. House always wins. Amazon is getting its money, regardless of the fact whether a customer purchases the product or not. But that's the game we are in. And I have a feeling even if somebody comes after Amazon, like Walmart or Target, they would have a very similar setup just because of the financial incentives to do so, and because that's how the e-commerce game is played.